Have you ever looked at someone you know is brilliant, off the chart smart, and wondered why their life just seems stuck? It's a weird paradox, right? High IQ, but low results? Well, today, we're going to crack that code. We're diving into Warren Buffett's personal operating system for avoiding this exact trap. So let's just ask the question straight up. How is it that certified geniuses, the people with the fancy degrees and perfect scores, can end up so completely lost, stressed out, in debt, maybe even working for someone who barely scraped by in school? The answer, it turns out, has nothing to do with how smart you are.
Okay, here's the core idea from Buffett, and it is so simple, it's genius. He says to think of your IQ, your raw intelligence, as your car's engine. It's the horsepower. It's impressive, right? A lot of power under the hood. But your rationality, your emotional discipline, that is the steering wheel. And at the end of the day, it's the steering wheel, not just the horsepower, that actually wins the race.
And this is where it gets really dangerous. See, without that steering wheel, all that horsepower doesn't just become useless, it actually becomes a weapon against yourself. You don't just lose the race, you crash into a wall much, much faster than everybody else. So the whole game is about building a better steering wheel. And Buffett gives us 3 specific rules on how to do just that.
So, rule number 1 for building that steering wheel is an idea he calls the 20-slot punch card. And this is all about developing an almost ruthless level of focus.
You know this quote? It just flips everything we're taught on its head. We think success is about addition, about saying yes to every single opportunity that comes our way. But Buffett says, nope, that's wrong. The real secret is developing the discipline to say no to almost everything.
And he gives us this beautifully simple exercise you can do today. Seriously, grab a piece of paper. Write down your top 25 goals in life. Now, take a minute and circle the 5 that matter the most to you. But here's the crucial part. What do you do with the other 20? They are not your B list. They are not your I'll get to it someday list. They are now your avoid at all costs list. They are the enemies of your top 5.
And this is the hidden price of distraction. See, your biggest threats aren't the bad ideas. You're smart. You can spot those a mile away. Your real enemies are the good ideas. The ones that are just tempting enough to steal your time, to steal your energy, but aren't great enough to actually change your life. Every time you say yes to something pretty good, you're silently killing the possibility of something truly great.
All right, so once you have that intense focus, the real war begins. And it's a psychological one. Buffett's second rule is all about defeating this one specific enemy he personifies as Mr. Market.
So, Mr. Market is this brilliant allegory for the wild mood swings of, well, any crowd really, but especially the financial markets. Imagine he's your business partner, but he is completely emotionally unstable. Some days he's euphoric, telling you everything's amazing. The next day he's convinced the world is ending. The point is, he is not there to guide you.
And here's the key insight. You're not supposed to let his crazy moods affect your own. In fact, you're supposed to use his irrationality. His wild swings are your opportunity to be smart, to buy when he's panicking, and to sell when he's euphoric. They are not an instruction manual for how you should be feeling.
Now, we've all heard this quote 1,000 times, right? But actually doing it? Man, that takes incredible psychological strength. It means you're buying when your stomach is in knots, when every part of your brain is screaming, run away with the herd. It means you have to totally disconnect from the crowd and trust your own homework, not their panic.
And this leads us right into the third rule, which, honestly, might be the most critical of them all. It's about the cold, hard math of survival, a concept that Buffett calls the margin of safety.
Let's just do a quick thought experiment. Imagine you've got some money invested, and it takes a 50% hit. Ouch. But it happens, right? You started with 100 grand, now you've got 50.
So, what kind of return do you need just to get back to where you started? Your gut might say 50%, but that's not right. To get from 50,000 back to 100,000, you need to double your money. You need a 100% return.
This is the brutal, unforgiving math of negative compounding. And what it proves is that avoiding a big mistake is so much more important than trying to be brilliant. A huge loss digs a hole so deep that it becomes almost impossible to climb out of. So the number 1 rule becomes, don't lose the money in the first place. So how do you actually do that? You have to think like an engineer building a bridge. If that bridge needs to hold a 10,000-pound truck, the engineer doesn't build it with a 10,000-pound capacity. No way. They build it to hold 30,000 pounds. That giant gap, that's the margin of safety. It's what protects you from bad luck, from mistakes, from total chaos. And you have to build that same kind of buffer into your financial life. Okay, so we have the rules for financial success,
But Buffett's operating system goes way deeper. It's not just about getting rich. It's about living a good life. And for that, he has one final scorecard. He calls it the final rocking chair test.
I mean, just let that one sink in. It really puts everything into perspective. At the end of the day, the real measure of your success isn't going to be the number in your bank account. It's going to be this. Do the people you want to have love you actually love you? And if they don't, then by his definition, no matter how much money you made, your life was a disaster.
And so that's the final, massive question we're left with. It's one thing to climb the ladder of success with all the focus and discipline in the world, but it's another thing entirely to get all the way to the top and then realize your ladder was leaning against the wrong wall the entire time. So are you just building a bank account, or are you building a life? You've got to make sure you know the answer to that before you get to the top.